Thanks very much indeed. It's good to see so many people still here, and most of you still awake. I'm really impressed. I'm going to take two things away from the conference today. One is that Capricorns are tidy. I didn't know that. My daughter's a Capricorn. I'm going to tell her about that when I get home because she's not very tidy. And having a sunbed session is like being in a microwave. It's just a bizarre thing, but that's something I'm going to take away today. I'm mindful of time, and I'm at the end, so I'm going to flick through the first few slides that I've got for you, because you're going to be able to read all of this when we publish our market position statement after the 17th of November. It has to be after that because elected members have got to come round to agreeing with me. So that's going to take a little bit of time. I think Sue's in here, and yes, I can see her. So the slogan, the sort of strap line, and it fits well, I think, with the superb conference we've had today. I think it's been absolutely fantastic. It is about great care, number one. Understanding that great care doesn't happen without great quality. That is key. It's in my job description. And where the public purse is involved in buying that care, we've got to have great value as well. And those are the challenges I think that we face. So I'm going to flick straight on to this fella here, because to me, and I think a number of the speakers, excellent speakers this morning, focused on this, it is about quality. If we don't have quality care, we're not buying anything worth buying. We're not doing anything worth doing. So what are we going to do to try and really embed that as we go forward in the next 3, 4, 5 years? Well, we're developing a new quality framework. We've always had quality at the heart of our commissioning, but we realize this is the time to refresh our approach, and a framework that covers the entire care pathway from well-being land. I don't know if you know, but 72% of people are actually okay, which is quite encouraging, isn't it? That's where they are, but right the way through to the need for some low-level support service, right the way through to end-of-life care. So I think we need to refresh our approach to that, and we're going to do that. The piece of work that I'm personally most excited about, and I'm working with colleagues in Norfolk Independent Care, Dennis, Tracy, a number of people I can see in the room today, is a new quality mark, a code of practice, a new hallmark of quality that we're going to launch here in Norfolk. David Pryor said it earlier, CQC is about an entry point, an entry standard. We want to do a lot better than that. We want people to get fantastic quality care in Norfolk, and I'm absolutely determined that we have a way of making it very easy for consumers of care to identify providers who are really high quality and committed to quality. I used to run the Trading Standards Service. Happy days. So I know what it means to have a sense of who are the dodgy traders. Where's the risk to the market? We don't have a system for that in Norfolk at the moment. Well, we're going to invest in one. So we're going to invest in a system over the next 12 months which will allow my team and colleagues to identify those providers who are perhaps failing to meet the standards we want, so that we can get in early and help. The system will also help us to identify the risk of market failure. We've had a big market failure in Norfolk this year. It's taken a lot of my time dealing with it. It's very important that we're proactive about that. And I want to link this idea of quality to what we pay you, because that's what counts. One of the criticisms I've heard of the Harwood Care Charter, which we feel is an excellent quality standard, is I've been told it doesn't have teeth. We're going to give it teeth. The market. I can't remember which of our excellent speakers this morning said this, but actually the care market, the care economy, is an incredibly important part of the Norfolk economy as a whole. It's not going to get smaller, it's going to get quite a lot bigger. So we need to understand how to make this market work a little better than we do at the moment. So let's just have some facts and figures. So I've only been in this post for 10 months, and I didn't know these numbers. I said, what are the numbers? In terms of public funding, we estimate that about £842 million is invested in the care economy, the social care economy, so not the health economy, in Norfolk. So it's not about not having resources. Actually, there's a lot of money there. I think the issue is about what it buys. Just back to that last one, almost half of this money is actually paid in disability-related benefits. So a great deal of the money is actually a bit like a direct payment. It's going straight to people's pockets, and they're using that money to buy services from the market. The council is investing about £260 million every year in the care economy. That is a huge sum of money, in spite of the pressures being faced by the council, which Harold alluded to earlier on today. Private wealth. We think about £142 million of private money is buying care from providers, many of whom are in this room today. So it's about something like a half, just over a half, of the public investment that's going in at the moment. What's going to happen is that amount of money is going to go up, and as a proportion of the total amount going into the market, the public, the taxpayer contribution is proportionately going to go down. This is an interesting one. This is today. The amount of money from the health system buying social care outcomes is £25 million. £25 million. Jonathan CCG on its own is investing well over £200 million a year. So we've heard quite a lot today about removing the barriers in the system and being able to move money around, to pool money, I've heard. I think this figure here shows that we really need to get on with that, because that amount is about the same as charitable organisations put into the economy each year. But this is the hidden story for me. This is the really important statistic that I learned, still fairly new to this job. We have an army of 94,000 people, saw some of them today, who are providing care for no money at all. If the council had to buy that care, we estimate that we'd have to find £500 million at least to do it. We don't have £500 million. So we've got to make sure that we do all we can to support these people. A little bit of some facts and figures about where we are now, and you might reflect on, is this really where we need to be? Where does that £260 million actually go? The biggest chunk goes into residential care. We've got almost 300 or so residential care providers in Norfolk, £131 million. Nursing care, only £15 million. I dare say that that's an area that needs to grow if we're to enable our hospitals to empty. The care estate needs to be developed to make discharge from hospital easier. Home care is a growing market for us here in Norfolk. We invest £53 million at the moment, and we'll talk a little bit more about our ambitions for home care in a moment. Supported living as an alternative to residential care, £29 million. £17 million, mostly through direct payments, buying personalised care, but £25 million in daycare. Which kind of people are we supporting? Older people, unsurprisingly, most of the investment goes there because numerically they outnumber everyone else, 138 million. Learning disabilities, a lifelong condition, £87 million. Physical disabilities, 23. But look at that. We've heard a lot about mental health, parity, £12 million. So I dare say that we need to have a look at that pattern of investment as we go forward. Demand, if you can read that slide, you're doing exceptionally well. But let me tell you what it says. This is the demand for community care assessments each year. Over the last 5 years, that demand has gone up by 50%. With the Care Act coming into force, we expect that to go up by at least the same amount again. So the customers, if you will, in the market are becoming more numerous, not less. This is another way of looking at demand. 7 years' time, we'll have a growth of 40% in people aged over the age of 85. The correlation between health issues, particularly dementia, and reaching the age and passing the age of 85 is very, very strong. And even down to the 65 to 74s, we're going to almost 20% and 26.7% people between 75 and 84. Norfolk is an outlier when it comes to the proportion of its population who will be old or very elderly, and that's going to drive demand. So what are we doing about it? What are our commissioning intentions? I'm just going to look at the very short term today, but we'll be developing a pipeline of commissioning initiatives over the next 12 months or so. So next time this year, we'll be talking about a longer time frame. Residential and nursing care. We've heard quite a lot today about the issues in this market, whether it's Norse Care, whether it's the private sector, whatever. There's a feeling that it's not quite working properly. We understand that. We get that. So we're going to do a big piece of work, working with the market to understand what's going on in residential and nursing care. The investment we make is too big not to understand where it's going. And what we want to do at the end of that is something I'm quite keen on. I want to publish what I'm calling a white paper, because there won't be one single obvious answer. We want to actually engage all of us in working out what that sustainable solution looks like going forward. I'm really excited about this piece of work. Home care. One of my colleagues, I don't know if she's still here today, Sarah Hall, has led a fantastic piece of work in developing a completely new model for home care, which addresses many of the issues that the speakers this morning spoke about. Personalised care, care that is flexed, care, a contractual arrangement that gives the provider the power to change the nature of the care product. It's not just the care plan, it's what that person wants, it's what works for them. A reward linked to the outcome achieved as opposed to time and task. We've got a very ambitious program and a very tight timescale, so we will be creating business opportunities for home care providers, of whom we have many fantastic providers in Norfolk. We're lucky, actually, in that regard. In the next 2 years, something like £17 million worth of business coming your way. Housing with care and supported housing, we continue to commit to and believe in the need to invest in settings of this sort as an alternative to residential care. They're not only good value for money, they achieve great outcomes for people. So we will be engaging with providers of housing and care to deliver new services in the next 12 months. This is a really important area for us, a big challenge. At the moment, we invest about £2 million a year in this. It's not enough. It's nothing like enough. We need to look at, not only because it's a Care Act duty, but we need to look at the way we can improve our information and advice services right the way through the experience of the care and support system for people. We need to make people interested in care informed and empowered consumers. We need consumers to drive quality just as much as commissioners and providers themselves can. And that means they need to be really well informed and really smart about their choices. Heard a lot about this. This is a personal mission of mine. Fostering the workforce is phenomenally important for us in Norfolk. We're already taking that forward, and elected members of the Adult Social Care Committee very recently endorsed our proposal to link contracts to the Unison Ethical Care Charter. Jonathan's hovering to the side, which is great because I'm at my last slide, so he'll be well pleased. Future aspirations, transformation. It's about scale and pace. Someone said we haven't started yet. They're right. The next 5 years is going to be incredibly challenging. But I don't know about you. I've been inspired by what I've heard today, some of the speakers in particular. I sense we've got the ambition I sense we've got the aspiration so that together we can achieve great care, great quality, and great value. Thank you.